Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. Today I'm going to be talking about how to search engine optimize your LinkedIn profile. This will help future employees, recruiters, and potential partners be able to find you. So if you do not want to stay your industry's best kept secret and you want to rank at the top of LinkedIn, then grab your cup of tea and let's dive into it. Today I'm going to be sharing my top 8 tips for SEO optimizing your LinkedIn profile, and I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible because SEO does not need to be that complicated. But before I do, let's talk about what SEO or search engine optimization is. Optimizing your LinkedIn profile will help you to build your personal brand. Sometimes our wider industry outside of the organization that we work for, maybe people we've worked for in the past and our contacts in the industry, doesn't actually know us as well as we think they do. So optimizing your LinkedIn profile is going to help you become discoverable to people that might not already know you yet. I, for example, remember being in many interviews with people who weren't even from Australia altogether. So by optimizing your LinkedIn profile, you are going to be discoverable to the people that are looking for your unique skills and capability. So search engine optimization, or SEO for short, is when you intentionally orientate the information that you have created online to appear in search engine results pages. So let's think about Google, for example. You have a question or a query or a problem that you are trying to solve, and you put that into your Google page. The page that you then see is your search engine results page, and the results that you see at the top of that page or on that first page are likely going to be the result of really intentional strategic SEO efforts. So let's link this back to how this applies in LinkedIn. There might be a potential future employer, a potential partner, or a potential recruiter who is searching for a particular person to solve the problem that they have. They are looking for a particular set of skills and capabilities. They type their query into LinkedIn and they are given a list of results. They are given a search engine results page similar to what you would do on Google. It's what you likely already do on your own LinkedIn if you already have a LinkedIn profile. Tip number 1 is to determine your LinkedIn SEO keywords. Now, if you're not familiar with what this is already, this is the keywords that you are going to target as part of your SEO strategy. So when you are developing the SEO target words for your LinkedIn profile, you want to be thinking like a recruiter or a potential future employer or partner and what they would be typing in to their LinkedIn query. You then want to base your keywords on this. But what I also suggest is to remember to keep in mind what the vision and the goals are for your personal brand. What do you most want to be known for? And base your keywords on this. Now, I also suggest not keeping this too vague where possible. Make sure that you are coming up with things that you are likely going to be able to rank for. So if you are, for example, a social media manager in the beauty industry, then how are you developing your keywords to suit this? You can even open up a private window in your browser so it doesn't have any of your previous patterns and history, and see what you actually would be wanting to target as your keywords. Open up LinkedIn and try this for yourself to determine what is best for your search engine optimization strategy. Tip number 2 is to customize your LinkedIn URL. Now, if you haven't done this already or you're not familiar with it, you are given a unique URL when you activate your LinkedIn account. But this is automatically generated, and there is nothing specifically to identify you in terms of your unique name or your industry experience. But you do have the opportunity to customize this. I'll leave a link in this episode that will give you LinkedIn's instructions about how to do this. But it ends up being a really great opportunity for you to ensure that you are actually using, if available, your full name or something that can uniquely identify you and your industry. So you might want to add on that you are a CPA, for example. I personally opt to use my whole name because I feel like this works best for me, and I know that my name isn't particularly common. But this also has an added benefit because you've gone from your automatically generated LinkedIn ID to something that is now really easy for you to communicate. So you can start to put this on all of your marketing and your communications going forward. It'll be easier for you to point people to your LinkedIn profile and to actually grow your personal brand on LinkedIn. Tip number 3 is to SEO optimize your LinkedIn headline. Now, I see so many people using their exact current title with their current employer or in their current business, but I think this takes a little bit of a limited perspective on the value that you have to bring your network or your community. So try and think a little bit broader. What is your field of expertise? What is the unique value that you have to offer? This is an opportunity to develop your personal brand and niche. No matter how much you love your current employer or your business, look at this as an opportunity to not only develop your own personal brand, but to actually add value back to your current employer or your business as well. When you are coming up with your LinkedIn headlines, you want to go back to what your target SEO words are. And I want you to also remember that when it comes to SEO, even the order of your words can matter. You also want to make sure that you are keeping your headline as clear as possible. I see so many people with really creative headlines on their LinkedIn profile, and this is great, but only if it is also first achieving clarity. So if you are able to manage a clear LinkedIn headline that is also captivating, then of course that's going to be a win-win. Tip number 4 is to SEO optimize your LinkedIn About Me. I have done a whole blog on how your About Me is precious real estate for your LinkedIn profile, and I have shared what I think are the best ways to develop your About Me. But for the purpose of this episode, let's talk specifically about SEO. You want to go back to your target LinkedIn words for your SEO strategy and make sure that they are integrated throughout your bio. But you also want to be conscious of not overstuffing your bio with your SEO target words, because this isn't going to sound natural. It's going to sound really forced to the reader. And sometimes platforms can actually pick up on the practice of overstuffing as well. So you want to make sure that this is not something that you are doing. You also want to be thinking about your keyword density. This is the number of times that your target keywords will appear in the total word count for your piece of content. As a general rule of thumb, it's understood that between 1 to 2% of a density level is a good benchmark. So for example, for every 100 words that you have in a piece of content, you want to be aiming to have 1 to 2% of that be targeting your SEO keywords. Tip number 5 is to write your work history with your LinkedIn SEO in mind. Now, when it comes to the descriptions of roles that you have had, you do have an opportunity to usually explain them in a little bit more detail. So don't just include everything that you did in that particular role. Be really strategic about your choices. Go back to your target SEO LinkedIn words and integrate that throughout your work history. You might also want to have a think about what you have seen recruiters include on job descriptions that you most want to be aligned with. Tip number 6 is to add your LinkedIn skills with your LinkedIn SEO strategy in mind. You do not want to be touting every skill that you've ever had to anyone that will listen. Be really strategic about your choices with your skills. This is so close to being really aligned with what keywords are in general anyway. So be really intentional about your choices, going back to your vision and your goals for your personal brand. Tip number 7, if this is relevant for you, optimize for a location. Go through your entire LinkedIn profile, your about me, your work history, maybe any education that you have had, and see where you have the potential to target a particular location for opportunities that you are interested in. My final tip is to create content consistently. This can be an often overlooked opportunity, but you have the ability to improve your SEO through your actual posts on LinkedIn and your articles. So go back to your keywords and see how you can integrate them into all of your future posts and your articles. So hopefully by now you can see that optimizing your LinkedIn profile is actually a pretty straightforward task. It's just one that you want to be intentional about. So hopefully you're going to open up your LinkedIn profile when you have the time and listen to this episode again and go through all of the top tips that I have mentioned. But when you have done that, I don't want you to stop there. I want you to make sure that after set periods of time, you are continuously reviewing your LinkedIn profile and making sure that it still aligns with your personal brand vision and goals. So you might want to do this every quarter, every 6 months, or at least every single year. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. If you have found any of this valuable, then do think about subscribing because I share content like this every single week. And while you are updating your LinkedIn profile, then connect with me on LinkedIn because I also share content like this straight to my feed. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.